Apollo 10 loses contact with mission control and encounters an unidentified radio signal.
I don't know what the hell that was. It's really weird.
There was something there.
When the mission returns to Earth, all records of the incident are classified.
The tapes reveal conversations between the astronauts about a phenomenon that they did not report to mission control.
What the hell happened? Babe, I don't know.
From a mysterious hut that seems to have been found in the middle of nowhere on the moon to bizarre UFO sightings, the moon is full of mysteries we've barely scratched the surface of. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting discoveries yet. Mysterious objects found on the moon's surface. Could this be the breakthrough that finally proves we're not alone in the universe? Stay with us on this ride. 1. NASA opens moon rock samples sealed since Apollo missions. Imagine having a hidden treasure so valuable that only a few have laid eyes on it, and even fewer have touched it. Now we're talking about that treasure, which was hundreds of pounds of moon rocks brought back by Apollo astronauts nearly half a century ago. Tucked away in a locked vault at Johnson Space Center, these lunar gems have been out of reach until now. As we near the 50th anniversary of that giant leap for mankind, NASA is getting ready to unlock some of these precious samples for a new generation of geologists armed with 21st century tech. Ryan Ziegler, the Apollo sample curator, clad in full protective gear, is at the forefront of this exciting venture. It's no coincidence that the samples are being opened up as the golden anniversary of the first moon landing is upon us. The timing is perfect, with a renewed buzz around lunar science, especially as NASA sets its sights on sending astronauts back to the moon by 2024. The moon isn't just a piece of space history, it's becoming a hot topic again, serving as a critical testing ground for even more ambitious missions, like those planned for Mars. Ziegler has a big job. He's in charge of preserving the 842 pounds, 382 kilograms of lunar samples brought back between 1969 and 1972. Some of these have been vacuum sealed, frozen, or stored in helium to stave off contamination since the days of the Apollo missions. Thanks to today's cutting-edge technology, scientists can now do more with less, studying smaller samples more extensively than ever before. The Lunar Sample Lab at Johnson is something out of a sci-fi movie, with 2 vaults, one housing pristine samples and another for those that have been previously studied. It's fascinating to think about 70% of the original moon samples still resting untouched in these ultra-secure vaults, which need 2 people just to open them. Interestingly, the Apollo 11 mission, NASA's first manned moon landing, brought back the least amount of moon rock, just 48 pounds, 22 kilograms. At the time, astronaut safety was the paramount concern, and everything else took a back seat. Most of these precious rocks are now kept at room temperature to keep them in peak condition. As we dig into these time capsules, with tools that weren't even dreamed of in the 1960s, who knows what secrets we might unlock about the moon, or even the entire solar system. 2. Apollo 10. Astronauts encountered a strange radio signal while on the moon. There's nothing quite like the thrill of space exploration, unless, of course, you stumble upon an unexplained cosmic concert while cut off from Earth. That's exactly what happened to the crew of Apollo 10 in 1969 during a routine orbit around the far side of the moon. Astronauts Thomas Stafford, John Young, and Eugene Cernan were smoothly sailing in their spacecraft, codenamed Snoopy, and everything was business as usual. Suddenly, as they lost radio contact with Earth, a bizarre whistling sound filled their cabin, thanks to the moon blocking the signal. The astronauts described this sound as outer space music, an eerie serenade that lasted about an hour. Imagine floating in the vast, silent expanse of space and hearing mysterious music with no obvious source. The crew was understandably baffled, wrestling with whether they should even report the incident. What if no one believes us? They pondered, worried about sounding unhinged to mission control. This strange occurrence remained under wraps for decades, the details hidden away from the public eye. It wasn't until 2008 that NASA released the mission transcripts and audio recordings, throwing open the doors to rampant speculation and intrigue. The story caught fire again in 2016 when it was featured on the TV show NASA's Unexplained Files, sparking debates and theories about the nature of the music. NASA engineers eventually chalked up the phenomenon to mundane radio interference between the VHF radios in Snoopy and the command module Charlie Brown. However, skepticism lingered, with some astronauts from later missions, like Al Worden of Apollo 15, hinting there might be more to the story than just crossed wires. Was it just a technical glitch, or a cosmic symphony orchestrated by the universe itself? The Apollo 10 incident remains a captivating mystery that keeps astronauts and armchair astronomers looking up at the stars in wonder. And if you thought that was bizarre, you'll be even more surprised by the other strange tales that have emerged from the void beyond our world, just like our number 3. 3. China is investigating a mysterious hut on the far side of the moon. A curious cubical object spotted by China's Yutu-2 rover had everyone buzzing with excitement in November 2021. This wasn't just any space rock. This was the mysterious hut, spotted on the far side of the moon, capturing imaginations worldwide. Part of the Chang'e 4 mission, the rover was exploring the rugged terrain of the von Karman crater when it stumbled upon this cube-shaped enigma about 260 feet away on the horizon. As soon as the image hit the screens back on Earth, the Chinese National Space Administration's CNSA outreach program, Our Space, playfully dubbed it the Mystery Hut, Shenmi Xiaowu, Shenmi Xiaowu. The internet went wild with speculation. Was it an alien outpost? A lunar lodge left by extraterrestrial tourists? The theories were as wild as they were wide-ranging. Scientists, on the other hand, kept their guesses a bit more grounded. They suspected it was likely a large boulder, perhaps hurled into its current resting spot by some ancient meteoritic architect. But true answers would only come from getting up close and personal. A trek that would take the rover across the cratered lunar surface, a journey spanning the equivalent of 2 to 3 months on Earth. Fast forward to the rover's arrival, and the plot thickens, or should I say, shrinks. What was once thought to be a mysterious lunar hut turned out to be nothing more than a small, rabbit-shaped rock. The team, with a sense of humor as intact as their rover, now fondly refers to it as the Jade Rabbit, a name that charmingly coincides with Yutu, which itself means jade rabbit in Mandarin. This whimsical rock, far less imposing than first imagined, sat there beside what appeared to be tiny, carrot-shaped stones, giving the whole scene a touch of playful serendipity. It's funny how mystery and perspective can play tricks on us all the way from the moon. Now, if you thought that was surprising, just wait until you hear this next one. 4. NASA spacecraft snaps mysterious surfboard orbiting the moon. You might think that spotting a surfboard zipping past the moon would be the opening scene of a sci-fi blockbuster, but nope, this is real NASA stuff we're talking about here. Back in March 2024, a curious incident took place in the void above our heads. NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, LRO, buzzing around in its lunar orbit, caught a glimpse of something rather unusual and decidedly non-extraterrestrial. It wasn't a piece of cosmic debris or an alien artifact, but a fellow Earth-made spacecraft, making its lunar rounds. This surfboard-shaped object was none other than South Korea's pride, the lunar orbiter Danuri. And before you get too excited, it's not actually surfboard-shaped. The Danuri is a rather conventional box-shaped spacecraft outfitted with solar panels on either side, looking nothing like your typical beach gear. But thanks to a delightful twist of orbital mechanics and a camera shutter quicker than a New York minute, about 338 milliseconds to be exact, the images captured showed Danuri stretched out and smeared across space, making it look 10 times its actual size. The scene unfolded over March 5th and 6th, as the LRO and Danuri, traveling in nearly parallel orbits at speeds that would make your head spin, around 7,200 miles per hour, or 11,500 kilometers per hour, to be precise, offered NASA's team at the Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland a golden photo op. They seized it, snapping shots that turned a routine space encounter into an optical illusion for the ages. When Paul Byrne, an associate professor of planetary science at Washington University in St. Louis, shared these images on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, he had to clarify. To be clear, the Danuri orbiter is not a weirdly thin load of pixels. It's a fairly normal-looking orbiter. But at those terrific speeds, Danuri transformed into the space version of a surfboard on LRO's ultra-quick camera detector. It wasn't long before netizens started having a field day, comparing the elongated image of Danuri to the Silver Surfer. Yes, that enigmatic cosmic wanderer from the Marvel Universe, as reported by NDTV, an India-based news outlet. Isn't it fascinating how even in the vast, quiet expanse of space, our earthly endeavors can still stir up a bit of interstellar fun? Just imagine what other surprising snapshots are out there, waiting for their moment in the cosmic spotlight. Who knows what the next photo might reveal? Stay tuned. 5. An unidentified object was caught on camera, flying close to a SpaceX capsule. Here's something you might not believe unless you saw it with your own eyes. Imagine you're aboard a spacecraft, not just any spacecraft, but the SpaceX Crew Dragon, on a fine day in April 2021. The mission? To safely transport 4 astronauts to the International Space Station. But here's where things get a bit more Hollywood than Houston. Just 12 minutes after launching from Earth, yes, just 12 minutes, the unexpected happened. As the Falcon 9 rocket and Dragon capsule were going their separate ways, a mysterious object zipped right between them. And of course, the cameras caught it all. Now you might be thinking, what was it? Alien photobomb? Well, not quite. The object, captured in the dance of space logistics, sparked a flurry of speculation. Slowed footage did little to clear up its identity, though some sharp-eyed experts leaned towards it being just a piece of ice, a remnant from the rocket's liquid oxygen. It's less sci-fi, but hey, space ice is still pretty cool, right? No official word ever nailed down what it was, but the timing was impeccable. Right as our spacecraft duo was gracefully entering orbit, this unidentified flying object made its cameo. But here's the kicker. It didn't even faze our intrepid travelers. The Crew Dragon, undeterred by its brief encounter with the unknown, continued its journey. The astronauts arrived safely at their space home for the next 6 months, welcomed by the existing crew with open arms and warm smiles. Mission not only continued, but succeeded brilliantly. Now, if you thought that was something, wait until you hear about what happened next on another mission. 6. China rover spots strange glass spheres on the far side of the moon. There's embarrassing yourself on national TV, and then there's accidentally stumbling upon glass pearls on the moon. It sounds like a plot from a sci-fi movie, but it's just another day for China's Yutu-2 rover on the far side of the moon. Back in 2019, Yutu-2, as part of China's ambitious Chang'e 4 mission, set its wheels down on lunar soil, ready to make headlines. And sure enough, it did not disappoint. While roaming around, casually inspecting craters, the rover found not one, but two glass spheres, shining like tiny, translucent pearls against the dusty backdrop of the moon. These aren't your garden-variety moon rocks. These lunar spherules are a first-of-their-kind discovery on the moon's surface and are believed to have formed quite recently. Glass has been found before, both by this rover and during NASA's Apollo 16 mission, but never in such a captivating spherical form. How did they form, you ask? Well, scientists think these glassy globes could be the children of volcanic outbursts or the aftermath of high-speed meteorite parties crashing on the moon. The prevailing theory suggests that they came from anorthosite rocks, a feldspar-rich mineral, which got all melted and reformed during meteor collisions. These shiny baubles measure about 0.6 to 1 inch in diameter, chunkier than the microtectites found on Earth around meteorite impact sites, but smaller than the glass chunks the Apollo 16 astronauts tripped over. And while they might just seem like pretty little things, they hold stories of the moon's dramatic past, and possibly keys to building future lunar bases. The brains behind this find, Jiong Xiao, a planetary geologist at Sun Yat-sen University, couldn't get enough data because the rover had already zoomed past them. Still, he's pretty confident these glassy wonders are more common on the moon's secretive far side than anyone guessed. You'd think the moon had given up all its secrets by now, but no. Yutu-2 keeps pulling out surprises from its lunar hat. Apart from these glass spheres, a mysterious gel-like substance, and even a rock shaped like a rabbit were also spotted. Yes, a rabbit-shaped rock. And guess what? There's more on the lunar horizon. China plans to set up a lunar research station on the moon's south pole by 2029. With all these thrilling discoveries, who knows what Yutu-2 or its successors will find next? Maybe something even more bizarre, like moon cheese, perhaps? 7. UFO sighting on Apollo 15. There's never a dull moment when it comes to UFO sightings, but imagine spotting one during a historic moon mission. That's exactly what happened during NASA's Apollo 15 mission in 1971, and it's still sparking conversations and theories today. Back in the summer of '71, from July 30th to August 2nd, astronauts David Scott and James Irwin were busy making lunar history when something unusual appeared on the horizon, literally. A mysterious object was caught hovering over the lunar landscape, and it wasn't just any object. This incident, which could easily fit into a scene from a sci-fi movie, was captured in a photo that has UFO enthusiasts buzzing with speculation. The image in question, which resurfaced thanks to a YouTube video by StreetCap1, shows what appears to be a triangular-shaped object, almost like it was crafted from 3 tubular sections merged into one. UFO aficionado Scott Waring took a crack at analyzing the picture and suggested that it might have been a drone. His theory? Perhaps this supposed drone was keeping an eye on Apollo 15, driven by curiosity, or perhaps something more cautious. Of course, not everyone's ready to chalk it up to extraterrestrial spy games. Experts in the field urge caution, reminding us that UFO stands for Unidentified Flying Object, which doesn't necessarily mean it's from another galaxy. They suggest it could be anything from space debris to a trick of light and shadow. Despite the calls for skepticism, this sighting continues to intrigue those who follow UFO tales and feeds into the larger narrative of what might be lurking in the vast reaches beyond our planet. It's a testament to the undying human curiosity about the cosmos and whether we're truly alone. As this story keeps us looking up at the stars and wondering, you might be surprised to hear what's next on the list of unexplained cosmic phenomena. What other secrets are hiding in the shadows of space? Let's keep watching to find out. 8. The moon is enchanting in new photos from NASA's Lucy asteroid mission. You might think using Earth for a gravity boost is just smart physics. But when NASA's Lucy spacecraft did that, it turned a technical maneuver into a photo op with the moon that's nothing short of spectacular. Picture this. It's October 16th, and while you're probably sipping your morning coffee, Lucy is swooping past Earth, just 220 miles, 360 kilometers away, close enough to wave at if you knew where to look. Hours after this close encounter, Lucy wasn't done showing off. Using its LaLaurie camera, it snapped some breathtaking shots of the moon. The first set of photos, taken around 6.5 hours post-flyby, stitched together 10 2-millisecond exposures that showcase the moon's central highlands. Each pixel of these images represented roughly 0.8 miles, 1.3 kilometers, of lunar landscape, a level of detail that's just astounding. But wait, there's more. Another mosaic, crafted from 5 1-millisecond exposures and captured between 7.5 to 8 hours after the flyby, displayed the rugged, cratered southern highlands at the bottom, with the ancient Mare Imbrium, Sea of Rains, near the top, and the day-night Terminator line adding drama to the left side of the frame. And just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Lucy captured a single, wide-angle shot showing about 600 miles, 1,000 kilometers of the lunar terrain, featuring prominently the vast Mare Imbrium Basin and the striking Apennine Mountains. These images were taken from a distance of between 140,000 miles, 230,000 kilometers, and 160,000 miles, 260,000 kilometers from the moon. To put that into perspective, that's close to the average Earth-Moon distance of about 238,900 miles, 382,400 kilometers. These aren't just pretty pictures. Each photo provides invaluable data that will aid Lucy's main mission, to explore Jupiter's Trojan asteroids. By examining the craters and other surface features in these lunar snapshots, scientists can glean insights into the ages of surfaces throughout our solar system. Lucy is the first ever spacecraft tasked with visiting the Trojan asteroids. These space rocks orbit the Sun in 2 clusters, one leading ahead of Jupiter and the other trailing behind, at what's known as Lagrange points. Lucy's next Earth flyby in 2024 will give it the necessary boost to reach these distant, mysterious objects at Lagrange Point 4, with a third flyby in 2030 aimed at exploring Lagrange Point 5. So, what's next on NASA's cosmic checklist? 9. Mysterious lights spotted drifting past ISS on NASA live feed spark claims of alien sighting. Just imagine the buzz on the internet when footage from the International Space Station's ISS live camera showed a mysterious parade of glowing orbs drifting leisurely past the high-flying laboratory. A Reddit user, always quick on the draw, clipped this cosmic ballet from the ISS YouTube live feed and shared it, sending viewers into a frenzy of speculation. The video quickly racked up thousands of views, with viewers scratching their heads and wondering what these mysterious lights could be. Humor wasn't far behind, as some quipped about an alien fleet casually cruising by, perhaps checking out their earthly neighbors. Others, more shocked, noted that this kind of spectacle was a rarity in the annals of ISS live feeds. A true what-on-earth moment, except it was far above Earth. However, not everyone was ready to believe we had visitors from another galaxy. The more level-headed among the crowd suggested these were simply bits of space debris or reflections of lights from our own planet. Definitely less thrilling than an extraterrestrial flyby, but plausible. As the community dug deeper, a more grounded theory began to take shape, thanks to savvy netizens like AlphaZero Wanetwu. These weren't signals from an advanced civilization, but likely something much closer to home. The likely culprits? Squid fishing boats. These vessels employ intensely bright artificial lights to lure squid to the surface, creating a dazzling display that can even be spotted from space. NASA itself has chimed in on similar sightings before. In a 2013 blog post, the space agency noted that such bright lights often come from fleets targeting the Japanese flying squid, using powerful xenon bulbs to attract their catch. This mundane explanation might not have the flair of a close encounter, but it certainly ties up the mystery with a neat, earthly bow. While this particular light show turned out to be more about seafood than space invaders, it's a fascinating reminder of how human activities can leave their mark, reaching as far as the orbit of the ISS. And when you think you've got things figured out, space has a way of surprising you. If you found that intriguing, you'll be surprised to hear what came next on the ISS's list of bizarre sightings. What could possibly top this list? Stick around and you might just find out. 10. Russian cosmonaut spot space guests amid dazzling auroras in video. Imagine being hundreds of miles above Earth, floating in a high-tech tin can known as the International Space Station, and suddenly spotting mysterious lights on the horizon. That's exactly what happened to Russian cosmonaut Ivan Wagner during his stint in orbit. It's one thing to witness the aurora borealis, or city lights, twinkling like a celestial disco, but it's another to capture what Ivan playfully dubbed space guests on camera. This intriguing event unfolded when Wagner was recording the curves of our planet. 5 bright lights flashed into view between the 9 and 12-second marks of his footage, creating a buzz in the space station and across the scientific community back on Earth. These lights, which shone brightly and then vanished into the cosmic backdrop, were most likely not visitors from another galaxy, but the timing and their synchronized appearance were enough to tickle anyone's curiosity. The most plausible explanation: they were probably Starlink satellites, part of a constellation deployed by SpaceX to provide broadband internet across the globe. Coincidentally, these were launched just a day before Wagner's video went viral. Although this hasn't been officially confirmed, the dots seem to connect quite neatly. Upon noticing these lights, Wagner didn't just shrug off the sighting. He reported it to Roscosmos, Russia's space agency, which didn't waste any time sharing the footage with the world, describing it as both interesting and mysterious. It's not every day that you get potential uninvited guests photobombing your space video, after all. Roscosmos has roped in the experts from the Space Research Institute of the Russian Academy of Sciences to get to the bottom of this. While the romantic in us might want to believe these lights are a prelude to an alien handshake, the experts are keeping their feet firmly on the ground, suggesting that satellites are the likely source. This isn't the first cosmic conundrum to be observed from the ISS. Just this past April, a similar string of lights had astronauts puzzled until they were identified as another train of Starlink satellites. It appears our orbital neighborhood is getting quite crowded with these high-speed internet providers. So, what do you think? Could this mysterious object on the moon really be evidence of alien life? Have you ever come across any other unexplained discoveries like this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more mind-blowing content in the future.